If the state fails to investigate one of the largest child exploitation scandals in its history, how can it ensure it won't happen again? Keir Starmer faces criticism over stance on national inquiry into rape gangs. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, has sparked controversy by opposing calls for a national inquiry into the widespread abuse of thousands of girls across the UK. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Thank you for your support. During Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Starmer argued against the need for such an inquiry, stating that the government's focus should be on protecting children now rather than revisiting past crimes. His comments were directed at Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, who had pressed for a thorough investigation into the systemic failures that allowed these crimes to occur. Critics argue that Starmer's position overlooks the importance of justice for victims, many of whom were subjected to what former Prime Minister David Cameron described as abuse on an industrial scale. While acknowledging that inquiries can be difficult for victims to endure, Starmer maintained that immediate action to safeguard children should take precedence. However, this approach has been criticized for neglecting the need to understand how such crimes were allowed to happen and to hold accountable those who failed in their duties to protect vulnerable children. Without this understanding, opponents argue, the mistakes of the past risk being repeated. National inquiries, though often slow and imperfect, provide an opportunity to identify systemic failures and implement measures to prevent similar atrocities. They can also serve as a form of accountability and recognition for the victims, many of whom are now adults still seeking justice. Badenoch accused Starmer of suggesting that the government is incapable of addressing both current child protection and past failures simultaneously. This, she argued, raises troubling questions about the country's leadership and priorities. For a state to effectively function, it must protect its children and seek justice for them when it fails to do so. Anything less, critics warn, undermines the nation's claim to being part of the civilized world. The question remains, does this stance align with the vision of justice and accountability expected in a nation striving to address its past and protect its future?